saw it coming, should have caught the warning. But I took Hey, it is me, Wanda B, on IntellectualRadio.com, and you are listening to He Said, She Said. We are a relationship forum where we like to talk about relationships, female, male, those are relationships, right? Mom, father, husband, wife, dating, however the relationships are set up. And I usually like to bring it to you from the male and the female perspective. So we are going to get started. I have my dear friends with me. They are part of the He Said, She Said team, and they represent the he's and the she's. I have Yatu representing the he's today on the panel.
Hey, everybody.
And then dear Valencia representing the she's with me.
Good afternoon.
So, okay, this is what we decided to do today, you guys. We decided that we are going to go into our mailbox. We have a group on Facebook called He Said, She Said, and you can like the page and I'll put you in the group and join in our discussions. We have discussions all week long on the topics that deal with relationships. And we decided to go in the mailbox, and we had some people send us some things they wanted us to talk about and hear your perspective as well as our perspective. So I'd like for you to chime in on Facebook and let me know what you think too. Let us know your perspective on these topics. So, okay, I'm going to start off kind of lighter. I was going to go into the heavy one.
Right, I'm like,
I'm going to let us warm up. Y'all warm up with me. So we're gonna slide into it. We're gonna warm up some. So this is the first one that was in the mailbox. It's heard. Okay, I'm 33 years old with 2 children. My last friend, quotations, was 21 with no children. We had no problems with the arrangement, but it looked strange in society. The age gap. So what do you think about age gaps in relationships? The 33-year-old who's with the 21-year-old who has no children. What do you think about that, Inyatu?
I don't judge that. I feel blessed that I don't particularly find myself attracted to much younger women, but I don't judge that at all. She's 21. She's an adult. And I think if you guys are having a good time, that you shouldn't really worry about what other people think. You're going to be miserable so that they happy with how it looks, or you can be happy and, I guess deal with whatever petty consequences there are of other people judging that situation. But I think he should just enjoy himself. And as long as what's between them is great, then don't worry about what other people think. Don't feel guilty about that. That's my take on that.
What do you think, Valencia?
I think that with those relationships, and it's not necessarily judging. I don't want to say that I'm judging, but I think that a lot of times with those age gaps, especially when it's younger, I think when you're over 30, 35, and that's the young person in the group, then I think it'll work. When you have someone 21 and it does not even know themselves yet, we all were there. We know we did not know who we were at 21. And to jump into a relationship with someone that has father duties can be very difficult. So they need to first establish what are their goals. If their goals is just to hang out and have a good time, then hang out and have a good time. But if we're on a real journey for a real relationship for the duration, it's one of those that's on the same term, wavelength as the distance, long distance relationships. Some of them can make it, but pretty much the odds are against you. It's too much growth that has to happen, too much understanding, too much going on that it's just not, I don't see.
Do you think it's on the older person, the more mature person in the relationship to not even entering into a relationship with someone 21 years old? Is that even fair to them, or should they be in charge of someone else's feelings to do that? Or is it being selfish in a way?
I think it is kind of selfish, because in that kind of relationship, the older person is going to become the teacher and the molder, and the younger person is going to go with it because they think they're in love. And then when they wake up into who they are, is the older person really ready for that? Because then it gives off a picture of betrayal and changing and I made you and I helped you, and those kinds of things usually come into play in those kind of relationships. I'm not saying all 100%, But for the larger portion, I truly believe that is maturation mismatch.
What do you think?
I think that's valid. I think what she's saying is valid, but you learn from your experiences. And so who's to say that, two 21-year-olds don't really know themselves either, that it's going to, ultimately work out any better. And so from that perspective, it's like, you're going to have some relationships that don't work on your way to the relationship that does work, and trying to pick and choose and guide those, I don't know. And so, but certainly, 9 times out of 10, an older man dating a much younger woman is the molding aspect, the ego boost aspect, things of that nature. And certainly when that 21-year-old experiences more things, some of the things that she used to be impressed about with that older guy aren't going to be as impressive later on. But, they both adults, they can deal with that and move on, possibly if it doesn't work, onto happier relationships, and take the learning experience and do a lot with it. So it doesn't have to necessarily be a bad thing, but I think it could be difficult for it to last in the long term, for sure.
That makes sense. You are listening to He Said, She Said on IntellectualRadio.com. I'm here with Inyatu and Valencia, and we're going through our mailbox. People send us topics. We like to bring up what has happened. They say, okay, what's your opinion? Put this in your group and tell me what they think. That's what I get a lot of. And I want you to continue to send those to the He Said, She Said. Look for the little buzzy bumblebee, yellow and black, and you'll know you've reached the right group, because there's a lot of He Said, She Says out there. So please send us your topics, and we put them in our group, and we like to discuss them and hear feedback from everyone. Thank you, Rhea Ray Harris, Straight No Chaser, Mondays at 6 o'clock, for tuning in. My faith fashionista, and Walinda, who is also part of the He Said, She Said team, for tuning in. And everybody here on Facebook, thank you so much. I want you to chime in and tell me what you think about this topic on Facebook. I'll try to include your comments in as well, what you think about age and relationships. Should that matter? Should someone try to protect the younger person, or is it a learning experience for the 21-year-old? And does the 21-year-old, this is part of a life lesson, and should we even be concerned about that? Can they actually learn something from being in a relationship with someone older? Can they, Valencia?
They can. It's just, was it worth the lesson? Some of it. I don't think that, I can speak from my own personal experience. My first marriage was actually a large age gap. I was 19, he was 28 when we got together. And it was the classic, I found the cutie, smart, but let me mold her and control her and make her what I want her to be. And then when you start to come into your own, it's a battle. It's really a hard battle. So I learned some lessons, but
I think you bring up a good topic. Why does someone 33 years old want to be with someone 21? And that's why, I guess, for the 21-year-old to maybe look out for the younger person in the relationship when it's that age gap. Why would someone that age with children want to be with someone? Is it a healthy choice? Is it because you're everything I like in a woman, or is it because I want someone I can mold and shape and control? So, and that's for everyone to kind of be aware of in the relationship. And Yatu, is that how men feel about it though? When the man is the older guy, what do you think?
And that, I never been. I know you're I'm not trying to be funny. I really have not been down that road. That at different times, younger women have approached me and talked to me, and sometimes I try to like entertain that, and it's like one conversation, and I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, so I can't speak intelligently on that, but I think I don't see it as it worries me a little bit, because it makes me wonder, is the line going to stop at 21? But other than that, I don't necessarily judge it. I just read something on the way here where it was saying that you should spend some time with younger people. It didn't say romantic or date people, but don't be in your bubble, to so to speak. And so A man might be thinking, I'm gonna find me a younger woman and mold her, or he might just have met a 21-year-old under certain circumstances and they hit it off. I mean, it sounds like if he just wanted to mold a younger person, he wouldn't be in your inbox. Just being, honest about it. If he has some reservations, he's worried about how it looks from the outside. It sounds to me like because that wasn't necessarily his intent, that they're having a good relationship. And so I wouldn't knock it. I wouldn't be talking about that guy at the barbershop just based on that information, me personally. So, I think it'll be all right. If he's not abusive and he's not, doesn't have ill intent towards that young lady, I think she can learn from it and come out pretty much unscathed or no more scathed than she would with another 21-year-old. Because let me tell you, 21-year-old guys aren't going to be a whole lot better for her, because most men at 21, we're still coming to America sowing our royal oats type of thing. So it's like you're going to have the old dude molding you, but maybe being faithful to you, or the dude your age out here doing who knows what. So it's, it's all about the individual relationship, I think.
Makes sense. Okay. Well, you are listening to He Said, She Said on IntellectualRadio.com. And you all know it's that time where I talk about my lips. You're like, she does this every week. I sure do. I'm wearing my runway red for MorteCosmetics.com. You check them out, please. Order some lipstick. I'm telling you, they have all different shades. They have nudes, browns, purples, pinks, any shade you're looking for. But I love my runway red. So if you want some too, you put in Wanda B. Go to MorteCosmetics.com, MAURTE Cosmetics.com. Put in Wanda B, and they're going to give you a discount. See? I hooked you up. Make sure you put in Wanda B and get your 20% off. Get mortified like I am and get some runway red. Okay, so we've been talking about the mailbox, the He Said, She Said mailbox that I would love for you all to be a part of on Facebook. This is where we got these topics today that we are bringing up. And I'm going to check in and see if you guys have some input into the age gap. What do you think? Why do older women date younger men? Melinda wanted to know. Like, why does that come up?
Okay, my son is in the studio. He's 14 years old. He swears he's gonna take all my girlfriends. Like right now, today, he like, I'm telling you, Pops, you're getting old, you're getting gray in your beard. The party is over for you. And he cracks me up so much because he reminds me so much.
How old is he?
Of me. He's 14 years old, but he has his thinking cap on right now.
He's already collecting your leftovers.
But I think people. We have experiences and all of them aren't great, and we get frustrated and we just looking to do something different. They say the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again. And so I remember maybe a month or so ago, someone was on the He Said, She Said page. It was a woman, and I remember that it was a big age gap. She was maybe 50 something, but I want to say he was 30 something. And she was concerned about that. Enjoy, have fun. I'm not here to tell people what they should and shouldn't do. If it's legal and you're not out here trying to hurt anybody, to me, there's nothing wrong with going out here and having life experiences. People don't necessarily have to have ill intent. Ironically, I don't like younger, or I don't find myself attracted to younger women much, but I like hanging around young people. I like absorbing young people's energy. I like hearing what's different for them as opposed to how it was when I was their age. And so,
Butterfly Brandy said, age doesn't matter after a certain age range. Some things you don't understand or get until you have lived a little longer. And I do think that kind of makes a difference when you're talking 21 and 33, 10 years. But when that person gets 44 and 54, you wouldn't even think twice about that.
Right.
So it is kind of the younger it is, the age gap.
So when you were 21, did you date an older guy?
I did not find older men attractive at that age. For me, I was like, what are we going to talk about? I mean, I just didn't even see I didn't want to listen to Dusty's. And so I just didn't. It was what I, in my head, perceived older to be like.
Right.
So even when I was 21, 33 would have been like, oh, he is way too old. So where I was at that place in my life, someone 33 would not have even been someone. And kids, no, that would have been a no. So it's based on where I was in my life. And this 21-year-old may be a very mature girl, and she And I have friends who liked older guys. I see nothing wrong with it. I've never judged anybody for what they wanted to do or their lives, but it wasn't something I wanted at that age. Valencia, you said you did like older. Why did you think you liked older guys at that age?
I think my background of growing up, my father had businesses, so I was working and managing, and I was kind of a little older than I really was anyway. So that was kind of the disconnect with myself and guys my age. I'm running this business at 17.
Women mature faster than men.
And as far as the women with the younger men, I think women are more honest when they get with a younger man, what their intent is. They're more honest. They're more honest to say, this is a boy toy. This is great sex for me. This is just me passing the time because I'm so independent and I just don't even want all the other stuff that I have to deal with a man my age. And they're more honest. I think it's the men that can't say that they want to do the molding and the clay building.
Let me find out that I'm one of y'all's boy toy, or that I ever was one of y'all's boy toy. I'm gonna be highly upset.
Ladies, don't be honest with him.
Newsflash.
No, these women, they loved me.
They
I was
did.
their boy
They did for
boy toy.
reasons.
They lining
Yes.
up here right now. Trying to make you the boy toy. Little Inyatu back there age up some, and they'll probably make him one.
Right. He's a cutie. He's cute.
Yeah, we talking about it a lot lately.
Too funny. Okay, so we are going to go to a different topic. We are going to, now this one is a little bit deeper. This is one that someone wrote in and an issue that they're having, and this person thought that maybe someone else out there may be having one of the same issues. Is how do you handle or repair a relationship with a family member after they are believed to have been intimate with your mate? So someone who was married and suspected that a relative, very close relative, blood relative, had been with their mate. I know, I keep trying to really dig into
let me let you understand what
that person needs to go to therapy or just go ahead and shoot a fair one with their relative, because during the fight it's gonna come out if it's true or not. They go, you're free.
Should they confront the relative? They've never done it.
I did say either go to therapy, A, or B. Y'all have to go ahead. I don't care if y'all put the gloves on or y'all go in the back, go to the park, or do whatever y'all gonna do. But if y'all fighting and they lying and y'all fighting, they gonna end up go ahead and telling the truth because of what comes out when people fight. But that's a tough situation. I never thought about it along those lines, but I believe I did read the I'm sorry. I did read the inbox from the person, and it sounded like the relationship is over right now.
The person is no longer married to the mate.
Right.
The person is no longer married to the mate, but they're not concerned about dealing with the mate. It's more the relative that you still have to see, because you can divorce the mate and they can go on and be somewhere, but now they still have to be your relative, your brother, your sister. What do I do now that I have to keep seeing your face?
Well,
and you've never acknowledged that you did it. So now I want you to come up as the guy. Would love to hear how you think you should even bring this up. If this was your brother, if you would bring it up to your brother that you suspected this happened, and then if it was a sister, what do you think? What would you do, Valencia? Would you say something or just?
Oh, I'm definitely gonna say something.
We know our Valencia.
Keeping
if
nothing
you
to
are
herself,
Valencia,
you'll let it ride for sure.
Me not say anything. No, absolutely. It's gonna be a conversation. The thing of it is in that situation, how much evidence do you have? Do you know? Do you really know? Is it a gut feeling? Is there body language between the two of them? Have you communicated that this makes you uncomfortable? So if we're fast forwarding in your head, you feel like this was it. I am one of those type of people. I like to take titles away from you, because too many times we deal with too much pain and frustration because of a title. So let's look at the action. Take the person off. What would you do if anybody betrayed you in that way? Why do we get a special pass? Because you were my sister. Why should I give you a special pass? Because you did not respect me as your sister doing the act. So why is now the responsibility on me to hold you at a status of sister or cousin or mother or whoever it was that did the betrayal? So I say treat it as such. Take the title off and treat it as such. Cut it.
Okay.
And then you don't have to interact you know how to be at a function and not talk to someone and be cordial.
So if that relative wants to mend it, even though you know in your heart, like you mentioned in Yatu therapy, it's hard to get someone else to go to therapy with you. I think
that person needs to go on their own. They're torturing themselves, wondering every day what happened, and they don't know. It sounds like that person, if I remember correctly, they did confront and nobody admitted it. Nobody would admit it. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. So now you're just torturing yourself. So you got to figure out a way to get over it. And some people would be better suited just venting to a therapist and laying it out that way. And some people would be better suited as far as healing to really, really confront that relative. And I don't encourage fighting or violence or anything like that. But sometimes y'all got to address it, and that's what happen.
I want y'all to fight it out.
I don't want y'all to fight, but I know that's what might happen. This is a heated situation. I mean, men will kill you about their spouse, like, and women will kill you about their spouse. Like, that's a serious thing that I was always advised as a young person. Be careful about playing those types of games, and don't play those types of games. So don't, people will lose it about that. So in that regard, this person definitely needs to do something to stop torturing themselves and continuously wondering. And so I would start with the therapy first, and if that doesn't work, then you got to sit your brother down and see where it goes.
So Wayne Lanier said, and hi, Wayne, happy belated birthday. I know your birthday was this week. It depends on the timeline. If it was a past event, then let it stay in the past, but something present in the relationship with the brother or sister. So the relationship with the spouse is over. That's over. And I didn't bring up the point, but Yatu has read this inbox question, and true, they were confronted and neither one came out with it. Neither one said it happened, but it was kind of still, no one admitted it, because I guess they didn't have to. If they both agreed that, hey, we're not going to talk about this, let's not
take it to the grave.
Let's take it to the grave together. But now the brother, sister, wants to heal the relationship and just move on, because they said take it to the grave and I'm going to let it go. And the brother sister that it happened to is like, I don't know if we're going to let this go. I don't know how I feel to let it go. But like Yatu said, sometimes you just got to let it go. For peace for yourself, you have to find you have to heal yourself. You can't make anyone else heal. You can't fix other people. You can't make them go get help. So what it is you need to find your own closure and make peace for yourself. And that means finding your own peace. And I'm going to bring up answer. I brought this to one of our residents, people that contributes to He Said, She Said that I love so dearly, Terry D.
Terry D. I want to hear what Terry has to say.
Who has the Terry D experience. And she has one coming up in March, and I'm sure I'll have her back to bring up her Terry D experience. Terry D said, he will probably not ever trust anyone if he doesn't get the truth. Is the relationship repairable? Yes or no? So much time has passed, and he has to be honest. The brother, sister has to be honest. It won't go back to business as usual, that's for sure. I would strongly suggest counseling for this person, because you can't just allow this to fester. I would flat out tell that I need the truth. Ooh, she says confront and get the answers. I think you said the same thing, Valencia. Yes. And until then, that was the character flaw on their part and not the norm. Both of the ex and the other were grimy and dead wrong. And even if it never gets an apology or a truth, the person has to learn to move on. And I think we all agree with that you just have to move on, whether you get an apology, whether you get the truth, that for yourself, you're going to have to find your own forgiveness for them. And forgiveness is hard, Terry says, but it will also be necessary for this person to let go and move on. Even if it doesn't physically happen, you have to find your own form of forgiveness. And I think sometimes people think forgiveness means forgotten. You won't forget, and nobody's asking you to forget. We're saying just find the forgiveness in yourself to say, okay, well, and maybe you form a new relationship. Yes, I think you mentioned this too, Valencia, like the title brother, sister may not, you're going to get a new title from me. and I'm going to treat you, we're going to form a new relationship, and I'm going to be cordial. I'm going to treat you with forgiveness, but I don't know if we're going to be all warm and fuzzy. I'm going to try that. And I wish they get warm and fuzzy.
So can I ask you ladies, has anybody ever thought that you slept with somebody that you didn't? Because I think we kind of talk from the perspective
it happened, and maybe it didn't happen,
and maybe it didn't happen. So has that ever happened? Because I know somebody has accused me of sleeping with somebody. I thought I slept with somebody. I under no circumstance. It wasn't a family member or anything like that, but just period in general. It wasn't even about jealousy. They just assumed that might have been the situation when it never was the situation.
Well, that can happen, but when it happens, the communication needs to be there that I'm feeling like this happened, and here are my reasons. A, this, B, that, the body language, the conversation. And then the person that's being accused needs to take the defense wall down and understand and put themselves on the other position and say, is that reasonable that you would come to that conclusion based on A, B, C, or D? And then you take it from there. Yes, we've all been accused of things we haven't done. But do we need to step back and say that our actions kind of make it look like it was bad? And then if you're honest and you're not guilty, you should not have a problem making your mate feel okay about some things that look bad. Now, yes, there are some crazy people. You go to the mailbox, you were out there 2 seconds too long. They got questions. You was with the mailman. You went over to the neighbor's house. Yes, those people exist. But I'm talking about people who have real intentions on having longevity, healthy relationships. That should be allowed. And too many times we make the person who feels a certain way a villain for feeling that way. And we can't express why we felt that way.
And Yatsu, you're right that if neither one actually came out and said that it happened, is there a possibility it didn't? Probably, but at this point, there's definitely that possibility, and that may be why they left it out there, for that dear possibility for him. But I don't know. It definitely could not be, but at this point, it won't matter. I think what Terry said makes a difference. You can't go on, you're going to get the truth. The truth is done now. I don't think either one, maybe down the road, will come out and tell the truth. But right now, it doesn't feel like either one wants to. Right. And so now you just got to find your own truth. Finding out whether it did or didn't happen. Yes, people do accuse people of things they haven't done all the time. That happens. So, but at this point, he shouldn't even care at this point. It's time to move on. If it is over, it's over. Keenan White said, hi, Keenan, and thank you, everybody from the He Said, She Said group who tunes in and listens, and please join our group and join in the discussion. Said, let that go. It doesn't really matter. You already know they slept together, or your relative would have said, hell no. Yeah, I mean, you really would have fought it at the time. Absolutely. Don't you think, Yato, if it wasn't true, you go like crazy that you even think that.
Absolutely. That's where the conversation would be for me. It's like, okay, what did I do before this to make you think that I'm capable of this? Like, we got a problem before this situation, in my humble opinion, because come on now, stop it. So, yeah, I would definitely be adamant about it. I mean, I would want to know when do you think this possibly could have happened? Why do you think this possibly could have happened? And I would try to disprove it, to them.
Melissa, Miss Missy, who is also a contributor, has been on our show before, said, knowing me, that would be hard, though. What part would be hard, Missy? Forgiving? Or which part would be hard? I would like to know what you feel is hard about that, because I do think forgiveness is a difficult thing. I think one thing Oprah may have said, or I'm not sure, who said this, but you have to give up that the past could have been any different. Like, to let things go, that was going to play out that way. My relationship is over. That's how it was meant to be. And it's time to just move on, and don't give your own closure and not try. Yes, you may try to get the truth out of the sibling, but I don't think you're going to get it. I just don't think, why not already. I don't know. Hey, Nemia.
That's what I was about to say. Nemia said the only person entitled to upholding your honor in a relationship is the person in the relationship. And so if this guy isn't even with that person anymore or whatever, I just feel like he's torturing himself, or he or she, whoever it is torturing themselves more by holding on to this instead of just moving on with life. But I've never been in that situation, so that might be a very difficult thing to move on. But it's suspicion. The person definitely didn't say that there was hard evidence, and the person definitely said that both other parties denied it. So this is just what they're thinking, and they didn't present any evidence in the inbox as to why they're thinking it. They didn't say, hey, I came in and they jumped and he had a shirt. They didn't say anything like that. This is just the suspicion. So you gotta let it go.
Let it go. But I think what the person is asking for everybody's input is part of letting go is they want to kind of mend the relationship with the sibling. They want to mend the relationship with this sibling and don't know where to begin, if they even should. I mean, should they even repair it? And can you go back to acting like, yeah, you my homie, we brother, sister, and you may have done this?
I mean, they might be looking at you like, you think I'm a liar. What is that to repair? I told you no. What you know?
Let's just go back to the way we were. Let it go.
Something. But
okay.
You know, you want to have a relationship, but do you want to believe he's a liar and slept with your wife? That's a contradictory situation, sounds like to me.
Because of the title. See, that's what I'm saying. That would not be a contradictory situation if it was the guy up the street or whatever. The thing is, it's the title that makes it such a thing. Because, of course, if we find ourselves in that situation, we're not related to the person. Oh yeah, we're gonna make that person kick rocks. We're not gonna look back. We don't care. Yes. But it's the title.
That we're blood. We're related.
Yes, we feel like we got to do this. You know,
and you don't.
And that is my point exactly. You do not. So this person just needs to learn how to create some new boundaries with this family member and go on and let time tell you anything, reveal the truth, reveal what was lied, or even just your heart may just someday say it's not even worth holding on to it anymore, truth or not. But at this time, if that person's not ready, they're not ready.
Okay. All right, we're going to move on topics, and I'm going to say hello to a couple. Hi, Brandy. Brandy has a show here on IntellectualRadio.com too. Love Linked Wednesdays at 10 a.m.
Awesome.
Check her out. She gets you linked to what's happening around Chicago. Really good show. And thank you, everybody who's tuning in. Okay, so today, one of our topics that came up is the explain it in y'all. So I'm gonna let you.
Okay, great. So you know, my page is a reflection of how I was feeling at the time, and so I put up a post and it said, "Ladies, if you're interested in a man, act interested in him." And it got a lot of likes, but a handful or two of women came in and they were concerned about men reciprocating. They were concerned about men enjoying the hunt and the chase and feeling like that when they show men interest, it lessens the man's interest, and that it's also confusing the roles of men and women in 2017. So many things have changed, and I thought this was a very interesting conversation. I may have been a little dismissive at first in the comments on Facebook, but I actually reached out to a couple of those women this morning and asked them to talk to me about it. I don't want to live in a bubble where I think the things that happen in my life are the only things that are happening in the world. And so sometimes I can't relate to something because that wasn't my experience, but that doesn't make it any less valid. That doesn't make it any less real. And so I spoke to those women and talked about some of the issues that they see in dating and in men and in, you know, a lot of roles changing from 40
Let me bring up what
ago.
that big issue is that a lot of women tend to, and I know women feel this way, so I want you all to chime in because I know women personally. Brandy, I want you to chime in on this because I know you may, and that have come to me recently with this very thing, that they feel like if you show a man interest, they start pulling back. When you go all in with this guy, and I'm not saying how I feel on this topic, I'm just going by that. I hear this so often that when you show a man interest, that they tend to start pulling back some. But at first they were all after you, all coming at you. And then when you say, okay, I like you, okay, I'm going to start giving you some interest back, then they're pulling back. And that was the very thing that meme said, act interested. If you like a guy, act interested. And many women said men like the chase. They like to chase you. So they actually don't maybe want you to show all that interest because they want to keep that chase going. And Yatu is not that kind of guy. Show him interest. He's going to show you back if he likes you.
If I like you.
And Valencia, what do you think? Do you ever hear women talk about that?
I hear mixed. This has never been my experience. I'm one of those people that I'm sorry.
We know the meme. You've never been interested in somebody who wasn't interested in you. We know.
I'm just saying. So, but I think that we get too caught up on, we begin to change ourselves based on how someone else receives us instead of saying that wasn't the right person to receive it. And then we begin to change and pull back. And then we get with the person who deserves it and we don't give it. We can't recognize it.
So it's that game. But,
yeah, it's a game.
Let me bring in the women who have said they've experienced this from Yatu's page, because they say this is a real thing for them. So absolutely. Anna Nicole Lacey said, and thank you for letting me share this, Anna, I appreciate you, that men like a challenge. In the moment they know you aren't a challenge anymore, they shelf you or treat you a little different. You notice that men tend to like, now this is her word, not mine, bitchy women these days. Good girls finish last too.
Well, I went to lunch with me and my son went to lunch with a few people yesterday before going to the auto show. And so I asked everybody at the table, because I know that my experience is not always reflective of everybody else. And all those guys immediately was like, yeah, she too, wait, they wanted to chase, that they felt like too much expression of interest early on is going to run them away.
The men agreed to that?
Yeah, every man at the table. My son too. He was like, she too thirsty. But I think there's a difference between acting thirsty and interest.
But how do we know the difference?
I used the word interest talking to those guys, and they didn't hesitate. I was like, whoa, wow. I was like, and I tried to question them. I'm like, so you a woman you really liked at first, and then she became too aggressive, and they were like, yeah. And I was like,
but why? Why did they say it, Yatu? Share that with us. Why?
I think that it made them concerned that it wasn't just about them, that's what they do with men, period. That that you haven't had a long enough chance to see how special I am to be into me like this, is what they were saying at the table. That they felt like that those women were probably thirsty or easy, was their perception.
So if they show interest back, then they really want a man. They're hungry for a man now. But so it is true that they do want to chase you. Is that what you heard from your friends?
They definitely didn't want the woman to be chasing them. Definitely. They didn't say, none of them said, yeah, I want to chase. But they definitely were concerned about a woman coming on too strong.
I'm so confused. See the confusion for our dear lady.
Confused.
Me too. I'm a man. I'm like, what?
This seems like why are we playing games? This sounds like a game. And this is why we have so many unsuccessful relationships. First of all, if the man has shown interest in the woman, then he's either lying or being deceitful as to what his intent is if he gets scared when it's reciprocated. So this sounds like such childish games that we're playing. So maybe the details need to be given as to the woman who says, what were her actions? How long were you together? What did you do that was scared? Because interest and thirst, we've thrown away the good old fashioned courting. And now when someone courts you, they're thirsty, they're crazy, check them out. I mean, what are the rules? I'm confused.
Some of the ladies said that whenever they are not, the men that they aren't interested in are like the most interested in them, chasing them, stalking them basically. And then when they're interested in a guy, it's always less interest from the guy, and they are attributing that to their level of interest. I don't think it's that. I think that on he said, she said, unfortunately, some of the men on that page are complaining that women don't like good guys and that they're good guys. And I'm like, nah, she just don't like you. It's not that she doesn't like good guys. And so I think in those situations, probably with a lot of men, or at least for me, I just didn't like you. It didn't have anything to do with you being a good woman or interested.
I think that may be a big part of it too, that the ones who think she's too thirsty, they don't really like her in the first place.
Exactly.
They just need to be honest.
Exactly.
It's not that she was chasing you that she was too thirsty.
Yes.
You just wasn't that
Beyonce
into
like,
her.
I'm gonna buy you a car, I like you. You ain't finna be like, she Beyonce thirsty, I'm out of here.
Yes.
Yeah, right,
Absolutely.
dude. You got to go for that.
We let this they like to chase and no, let's just be honest.
Yes,
they don't really like you.
Alone. They
don't really like you.
Yes.
That guy did not really like you because
Exactly.
if you came back to him and he liked you the same way, it wouldn't be thirst. It wouldn't be thirst.
Wouldn't be a question. And
One
he wouldn't push
of
back.
my favorite memes is I love it when the thirst is mutual, right? It's like, I like you and you like me a lot. Great.
Let's
That's the
do it.
ideal situation. I can't imagine me really liking a woman and then she's showing that she really likes me and I'm like, what are you doing? You don't like me. I want to chase you. Excuse me. Like, that makes no sense to me.
And I think, though, it's confusing because hearing it kind of like you said, the conversation with your friends with, they didn't say, I just wasn't into her. They said, no, it was because she came back so thirsty and that kind of scared me off. No, honestly, you didn't like her.
You didn't like
her.
her.
Really didn't like her. It's hard to say you don't like them when they are good, quote unquote, good people. So you want to say that you like them, but good people it doesn't make them not good if you don't like them. They're just not good for you.
All
we
right.
have a caller, and it's probably my dear Nemia who wanted to join in on this topic, who couldn't come in today, but I'm glad that she could tune in. Hi, caller. Give me your name and where you're calling from.
Uh-oh.
1 second, caller. I'm gonna come back to you. Stay on there. Oh, we're not plugged up. I'm gonna get you
Power. Oh,
now. Okay, now we're on. You still there? Okay, call back, caller. She's still there. It's unplugged again. No, it isn't. Caller, we're working on it. I'm here. Is that you, Nemia? Tell me where you're calling from. If that's you, is that you?
Yeah, that's me.
Yay!
Hey, Nemia.
Hey, Nemia. Nemia wants to chime in on our topic. We're talking about thirst and the interest in guys. If you're interested in a guy, showing him that you're interested, and if women can actually do that. And Nemia, who is part of our He Said, She Said team, wants to chime in. Tell us, Nemia, what you think.
Here's the thing. I think women are open to showing interest, but men interpret that as being sexually available. And so we shy away from showing our interest because we don't want that to be confused with that you're going to get the goods today. I mean, I can pursue you as long as you keep it within the boundaries of I'm interested in getting to know you better, not getting to know you sexually better.
So what you're saying, Nemia, is sometimes if we really show that interest, is coming off as, oh, she wants to sleep with me. It's being read incorrectly versus I want to get to know you better.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you, Nemia, for trying. We're going to keep discussing that. Thank you for calling in, honey. See you later. Okay, so what do you think in y'all two?
I find myself wondering if it's, I can't speak on Nemia's experience, so I'm not saying she's wrong, but just hearing her say that, it made me wonder if maybe that's in some women's head because of an experience. I had a woman just invite me as a friend on Facebook, and then she inboxed me and said, hey, I'm not trying to talk to you. I heard you have inspirational posts on your page, and so that's the only reason why I'm inviting you as a friend. And I'm like, of course, like, yeah. I certainly don't see a friend invite on Facebook as an invite for romance or sex or anything like that. And then those guys yesterday, you would think their mentality, if a woman's inviting you to have sex with them, you would think men would jump all over that. But that seemed to be the area where they were concerned. If a woman wants to give it to them too fast, that was a red flag for them.
What Nemia was just saying is that she's not trying to give them sex or be intimate. She's just showing that, hey, I like you and I'd like to get to know you better. Why is that being read as I want to be intimate with you because I want to get to know you better?
I think that's weird because I don't find myself thinking about.
What about your friends? You don't think they think that way?
When sex is not an issue for you to get, it's not what you spend every waking moment worrying about. So if I meet a woman, I'm not thinking about when she gonna have sex with me. I could care less. It could be next month, next year, 5 years. Who knows? I don't even know if I want to have sex with you until I hear you talk more. And so that's not a thought of mine at all when a woman approaches me that's trying to have sex with me.
I
agree. But I would think those dudes would appreciate that then. And they want to have sex.
And I agree. And that's why I think that the missing thing is, and it's not that's to an extension of what we were saying, whether or not they like you. It's they like you, they want to have sex with you. But I think what scares them off is the interest that says, I want to have something real and solid. And they're not ready for that. But they're trying to pursue you, but they're in a pursuit to waste your time. And then when you get locked in because of the actions that they're doing, it's sort of like, we're not in a relationship, but we're hanging out, we're doing this, all the relationship stuff. But remember, I said the words, we're not in a relationship. So it's this constant game. And people are going to find themselves in these situations as long as they continue to buy a ticket to these games. I mean, it's just simply ridiculous.
Buy a ticket to the game and you want to play the game, you're going to be in the game.
Yes, buy a ticket to the game. Don't go to the stadium if you don't want to play that game. You don't want to go see that game.
Derek Harris is teasing me. He's like, 5 years? I didn't say I was going to be sitting on my hands or in a convent for that 5 years, but some women from high school, y'all wasn't into each other then, and then 10 years later, y'all are into each other. So it's like, me personally, who cares? But I know that that's not what everybody thinks. But I was surprised to hear those guys say that they were running from women who they thought was like, throwing themselves at them.
So I do believe for our dear ladies who find that to happen, don't chase anyone, because that means not chase, show interest. I do believe in showing interest. But if it gets to the part where you have to chase him, he doesn't like you like that. He doesn't like you like that. He'll probably still sleep with you though. But be prepared that he'll probably still sleep with you. But he may not like you to that extent to want a relationship with you. And stop pursue it or know what it is. Know what you want from that relationship. If you're going to pursue it, know that it may not be reciprocated exactly the same, because I think someone who likes you, you won't have to chase.
And I think too, the lesson in this for women is a people, period, men and women. Don't change who you are and what you give. I get tired of hearing the advice, pull back. Don't give them all of that. Don't do it. No, I'm going to give you who I am. You either get on the bus or you miss it. And trust me, you will miss it.
I totally agree. Be the same person. And if that person isn't reciprocated, that's not the right person for you. Don't play the game. Be who you are.
Absolutely.
I give everything in every relationship. And if you're not going to bring everything, then you're not the right person for me. And I'm totally okay with that. Next.
Agreed.
Well, you know what? It just sitting here listening to this conversation and being a participant in the conversation, I also realized that sometimes women come at men and right from the gate are encouraging that man to chase them.
And that's true. That happens. I do agree. And I need that to be a topic. That's another show topic.
Okay.
That's another show topic. You know why? Because recently that happened where someone told me he has to know my worth. And when I asked, how would he know your worth? I mean, what, and treat me like I'm worthy. And I'm like, okay, what does that entail? That's going to be next week's show, I think. We're going to talk about that because we are running out of time. You guys, you've been listening to, I know, doesn't it go by so quick?
Wow.
Oh, it goes by quickly. You've been listening to He Said, She Said on IntellectualRadio.com, and I appreciate you all. I do want you to continue liking the He Said, She Said page. We have these discussions all week long, so we like for you to join them. So join our He Said, She Said page, and I also want you to check out my sponsors. I want you to get mortified and get your runway red lipstick at morticosmetics.com. Go to Omen Home Improvement for your glass block windows. Any home improvement needs, tell George I sent you. Call 708-238-1829 and tell George, okay, I need my windows checked out. You'll get a deal. He'll hook you up. Okay, not that big of a deal. I don't know what his deals are.
Just give him some business. Give him some business.
I sent you. And then always, when we say you need help, we need counseling or somewhere to talk to, Journey to Wholeness Center is a place near and true to my heart. That's where I work out all my little kinks. They have everything there.
Y'all gonna see me soon. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, they have workshops. They have emotional clearing. They have so many different facets and modalities of how to heal, and we're all different. So something that may work for one person may not work for the other, and they have it all there. Journey to Wholeness Center, it is located at 9501 New England in Oak Lawn, and you can check out journeytowholeness.org. You can call them 708-634-3664. Do any of those things. But what I do want you to do is come back next week, same time, same place, to He Said, She Said here on IntellectualRadio.com. Thank you all. Love you all. See you next week. Same time.
Happy Sunday. Get out and enjoy the sunshine.
Should have saw it coming, should have caught the warning. But I took a taste. Like candy rain, running rivers through the summer snow. You keep me satisfied.